Hi all. I'm holding my iPhone by hand, so I apologize in advance for the camera work, but I'm repairing a Samsung SyncMaster T240. I bought two of these monitors years ago. For a double monitor setup, there's our computer station. You can see the one monitor there. We had a monitor to the right, and the backlight on that one started blinking out after, a minute of being on. You could smack it, the side of the monitor and the and the backlight would come back on, but it got so bad that it just was off most of the time. And so I had repaired that monitor that you're seeing there a few years back, several years back, and it was the inverter, the inverter transformer, the TM09175 inverter transformer. I ordered one online and came from China, I believe, if I remember correctly. And I replaced the one in the power supply board. And that monitor's been working like a champ for years now. And then finally, the second monitor, which I had not repaired, had the original board in it, and I had messed with it and it had been working fine. Started doing something similar, same thing. The backlight would go off, but the image was there if you shone a flashlight on it. So anyway, I went looking for the same information that I'd accessed on the internet when I repaired the first monitor, and I couldn't find it really, or not as much. And so I thought if there are other folks out there that have a Samsung SyncMaster T240, and I saw a fair amount of activity on the online forums where people were looking for help to troubleshoot this board. I thought it might be helpful to post a video of what I'm seeing, it's sure enough. It turns out you can see the inverter transformer that's there. You can see that area of the board is dark, and so it got hot. You can see right here where the plastic on this side of the inverter transformer actually bubbled from getting so hot. And this resistor over here looks dark. I think the resistor's still good. The resistor itself doesn't look burned to me. I mean, resistors can get really hot. Um, and the board clearly saw some heat because it's dark there. But anyway, I desoldered the inverter transformer. I had it in place here so you can see what I see, but I'm going to pull it out now and flip it over so you can see the board clearly got really hot under that side that you can see where the inverter was hot. And let's see, I'll hold the inverter under the cam here so you can see that bubbled. And you can make out the number that's there. I remember there was some confusion about exactly what inverter transformer model was in that location for the first monitor that I fixed. And I took a bunch of photos, close-up photos of that side of the inverter transformer with light reflected on it from different ways, and was able to confirm that it is the TM09175 that I needed to get a replacement for. You can kind of see that number there, but it's not very legible. It took me a while to figure it out, but I did. And then, so let's see what it looks like. Here's the new one that I got that came in the mail today. But let's flip this over and I'll let you see what it looks like. And you can see that on the right side, you can see the coils there reflecting on there's three sections there, the middle section and a left and right section. So you can see that right section really shiny and everything. You can see the windings on the left side though, black, right? They're scorched. That section of the inverter transformer is clearly burned. It got so hot that it burned. When I measure continuity, these two pins are connected to the same set of windings that go into this middle section. So when I measure continuity, I can measure continuity between these two pins on my kind of cheap Sperry DMM. But anyway, I get a continuity tone when I measure between either of these pins and either of these pins. Of course, in between these two pins or these two pins, because they're again, I believe, tied to the same set of windings. When I measure continuity between this pin and this pin, I don't get a continuity tone because there's enough resistance in that smaller gauge wire and the number of windings that are there that the continuity tone doesn't go. But when I switch my DMM to 2K, the 2K setting, I actually measured 1.0 something So there's continuity there, but there's enough resistance that the continuity tone didn't go. When I measure continuity, try to measure resistance between these two pins, they just measure as open. So this inverter transformer is clearly the component that's burned, or at least one of them. I mean, it's possible that this resistor is bad, that it's maybe burned. I don't know. I look at it and it doesn't look burned. So I know it got hot, but I don't think it got so hot that the component itself burned. And I don't really see anything else on the board that gives me concern. So I think this is the culprit. Now the new inverter transformer, let's do a little side-by-side comparison. Um, here's the here's the new inverter transformer, and you can see that the windings on the left, nice and shiny. I measured continuity. I'm sorry, between these two pins, and again, I get like a 1.0 resistance reading on the 2K setting on my DMM. I get the same continuity tones, when I measure the center section that I did on this guy, and I get the same roughly 1.0 reading when I measure resistance between these two pins. So the side of the new inverter transformer is operating just like this side and this side, the good side on the old inverter transformer. This side's open. So I'm going to solder this inverter transformer back into the board. I'll let you see the back side where I did the desolder work. It's not very pretty. I did it with solder braid, and I didn't have a flux dispenser, which I really should have had. It would have made soaking the solder up into the braid a lot easier. So I kind of mauled the board. It's pretty ugly, and anyway, but I think it's still functional. And I'll get the inverter back in there and solder it, and I'll take a follow-on video and show what that looks like, and then I'll put it all together and see if it works. So anyway, that's what that looks like. And I'll post a video and report whether or not it solved the problem or not when I'm done installing the new inverter transformer. All right, hope this is helpful, and I'll post the results following this video. All right, bye-bye. Okay, so I've got the inverter installed now. Let's flip this around. There it is on the board. And as I mentioned before, I was a little concerned about that resistor, but the resistor component itself doesn't look burned. There's the solder work. You can see there's the corner pins. There's the double pins, the two double pins on this side, pin, and then these end pins. So I'm happy with the solder work, nice shiny solder connections. And then out of an abundance of caution, these are the two connections for that resistor that got hot, and they looked cold to me. They looked like cold solder joints, which can create problems in a circuit. They can act resistive or not, depending on the temperature. They can cause intermittent failures. So I wicked the solder off of the two resistor leads, and then I effectively replaced that solder with some flux core solder, and they're nice and shiny. So just you don't want to put it all back together and not have it work because you overlooked something that is easy to remedy in case there's an issue there as well. So inverter's reinstalled, or the new one, and again reflowed or wicked away the old what looked like cold solder to me from the resistor connections, and resoldered those so they're nice and shiny and new. And now I'm going to put the board back together, put the monitor all back together and hook it up and see if it solved my problem. All right, I'll report back once my test is complete and let you know how it went. All right, bye-bye. Okay, there's the board reinstalled in this shielded, I don't know what you would call it, circuit card cabinet, or that goes on the back of the LCD screen. So there are three connection points, or hardware connection points, 3 screws. So 2 small ones there and there, and then this larger one, because that's near where the AC power connection goes. So, and then there was this one not really a ribbon cable, but this connection that goes from the power board to this. This controls all the backlighting, I believe, and the signal to the screen. So there is a, I don't know if you can see that. I can't really see that, but it was made a very satisfying click when I snapped that back in, so I know we're good there. So all right, I'm gonna put this install this little circuit card assembly cabinet on the back of the monitor again, and put it all back together and hook it up. So looks like everything's good so far. Oh, on this you just got to remember there's a little tab that slips into this, a little hole here on this frame, and then it comes down over this gap that's in here, and you put the screw in the top and through the CCA into the tab on the frame that it screws into. Okay, so there it is, all put back together. It all snapped together well, although I did, when I took it apart, I couldn't help but snap off the middle tabs on each side. It's very difficult to get apart, so there's a middle tab over here where that piece snapped off, and same on the other side, and that reminded me that when I tried to get the first monitor apart that I repaired, the exact same thing happened. But it still holds together really well, even though those two little middle tabs broke off. Super difficult to get the case apart. It's clearly never intended to come apart again easily. Anyway, now plug it in and hook it up and see if it works. All right. Well, here goes nothing. I'm nervous. We turn it on. All right, turns on. Well, how about that? We're in action. So we'll have to see if so it works. That's a good sign. Obviously, the question is, does it will it stay on? It used to blank out almost immediately. So the fact that it's not doing that is a good sign. So I think, well, I'm happy. We'll just have to monitor its performance and make sure that that nipped the issue we were having in the bud, and we'll have a monitor that will last for a good long while still. All right.